Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast, Gaming Dad's podcast, episode number 12. Is that correct, Tharoah?
Yes, it is. Oh man, you really pulled off that NPR voice today.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Maybe I needed to be sick more often.
Maybe so. Yeah, because it was very hello and welcome to National Public Radio's. That's awesome.
Episode number 12. Though my name is Scotch and Tie Guy, full name, or giver a stick, whatever you want to call me. Tharoah on the other end, though, of course, as always.
Yup.
Not too much of a crazy week.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty calm.
Outside, I mean, our lives have been crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But in the video game world, you know, there's not a ton going on. We know that this time of year is kind of a lull. I'm playing a couple of new different games. I will be celebrating the 20th anniversary of Paper Mario, so I'll probably be streaming that the next couple of days. But yeah, other than that, not a whole lot.
Yeah, not a whole lot. That's why I wanted to go ahead and let everyone know, we have Discords. Tharoah has a Discord. I have a Discord. You can find those links in the bio if you're watching this on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter, though. I'm still Scotch and Tie Guy on Twitter. Tharoah is Tharoah on Twitter as well. If you need the Discord links, ask us. But we like suggestions. Today is going to be a suggestion-heavy podcast because, again, there just hasn't been a whole lot going on. I mean, there's new games, kind of, but I mean, we've talked about most of the new games already. There isn't anything else going on that is noteworthy, really, in the realm of new games. We talk about indie games a little bit here and there, but we've already kind of covered that. I don't know. There just doesn't seem to be a whole lot.
So, I mean, this time of year, I typically love to delve into my gaming vault. You know, we as dads have that problem where we're like, oh my gosh, I really, really want this game. And then we buy it and never play it.
We just have a backlog of games that we need to play. So,
exactly.
I did play Black Mesa the other night. I was enjoying that. Got about halfway through that. I need to still finish playing that. I didn't play Inside, though. Did you play Black Mesa at all? I
did. Now, here's the thing. Are you speedrunning Black Mesa?
No, I'm not.
So for me, I don't know, especially my first time playthroughs, I'm like ADD. I have to go around and like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? What's this over here?
Well, that's the great thing about Black Mesa is there's just so much stuff to explore and discover.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just going through that backlog, trying to figure out what to play. I've been playing a little bit of Eco with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
I may have mentioned that last week on the podcast as well. The game is getting super complicated. I want to point that out. It's getting like really complicated, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, other than that, just going through that backlog and working, going crazy.
Well, and again, suggestions would be great for future podcasts. Check us out on Discord. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on any social media. We're both on Twitch. I'm Giver a Stick on Twitch. Tharoah is Tharoah on Twitch. He's on there constantly. I'm less frequently on there, trying to do that a little bit more. But let's just get right into it today. One of the first topics that was suggested to us was movie to game or game to movie titles.
Ooh.
So games like Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Minecraft, actually, Monster Hunter, Detective Pikachu, like all of these game to movie titles that have been put out there. Generally speaking, pretty bad.
Really bad. I mean, I don't know. There's some that are okay. Like I really enjoyed the original Mortal Kombat. Like the first movie that came out with Liu Kang, Sonya Blade. I think that was back like early mid 90s. Mm-hmm. The sequel that came out was like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and it was bad. I know I'm going to get flack for that, but it was bad.
Well, throw it all the way back to the OG game to movie, Super Mario Bros.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's like the quintessential game to movie title.
And you either love it or hate it, honestly. It's got that actor. I cannot remember his name. I know he's since passed away. The guy who actually played Mario. He was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit as well.
Yeah.
And I cannot. Bob. What is his name? I don't know. Anyway, but like King Koopa, the portrayal of King Koopa being like this human dragon hybrid, and then Yoshi. Yeah.
Oh, poor Yoshi. Poor Yoshi.
I liked it, to be honest, but a lot of people don't.
I think that my problem with it is like I don't have a problem with Yoshi necessarily. I don't have a problem with Mario or Luigi necessarily. The problem I have was with every other character. Right. Like in how they are portrayed in comparison to the video game. It's like so far off.
Bob Hoskins is his name, by the way.
And it's just so awful. But it's like that's the quintessential game to movie title. Is Super Mario Bros.
Well, fun fact, the designer for Yoshi, his name was Patrick Tadopoulos, I guess. It was around the time that I guess Jurassic Park was in production.
Mm-hmm.
So he consciously designed the dinosaurs for Super Mario Bros. To be more cutesy, with an inspiration from Beetlejuice. So he called Yoshi.
Such a weird time. God.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He called Yoshi an abstract fantasy T-Rex. What? Okay, all right, I guess.
I see it pop up for occasionally on TV. I'm just like, why do they still show this? Like,
because it's so good.
Other games though, Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Had that was Michael Fassbender, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I love Michael.
Was it Jake Gyllenhaal?
That was.
What am I thinking?
No, I don't know what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking of then. Who? All right, so Michael Fassbender. I don't know. It wasn't bad. Like, it was okay.
Well, it's got Michael Fassbender, which he's an amazing actor in his own right, right? And it's just like. The portrayal of it was just awful though. Like the story writing was just so terrible. It was like everything else about it was just awful.
I mean, but to be fair, the first Assassin's Creed game was terrible.
That's fair.
It was so bad. So I mean, I get it, I guess. Maybe like once they get to like Black Flag where they have ships, it'll be good. It'll be like a hybrid between Pirates of the Caribbean and Assassin's Creed.
Right. No, I don't know. It's just like of all the they could have done so much with the Assassin's Creed movie.
They could have.
Because the story, generally speaking, isn't bad. Like, it's not a bad story. The games themselves aren't great, though. Particularly one, and then you get... I mean, Black Flag was good. I still think that 2 and Brotherhood were pretty decent games in their own right, like 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. But then after that, it just gets really bad. And the story gets all convoluted and everything.
They've changed it too. So like the new modern Assassin's Creed, like Odyssey and stuff like that, are completely different than how the first games were kind of conceptualized, I guess. Yeah. So I don't know.
Combat system is completely different.
Ubisoft just has no clue what it wants, to be perfectly honest.
Sonic. Did you see the Sonic movie?
Yes, I did.
The disappointment in your voice.
I mean, the only reason why I saw the Sonic movie, to be perfectly honest, was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
That was the only reason. Like, I've never seen Detective Pikachu and a couple others. But, like, I don't know. Jim Carrey was over the top. Yeah, I mean, he put his little spin on it, but I didn't. I don't know.
It's Sonic, though.
It is Sonic, but
it's
I mean...
Sonic! No, I don't know. I think the funny part about it was the development of the movie itself and how they had to remake...
Oh my gosh.
Sonic. The initial Sonic... Jesus.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was awful.
It was really bad.
The remake, the new Sonic that they made, though, was... I thought that the animation there was very, very, very good.
Right.
So...
I mean, I don't know. It was... I think they were kind of on the tail end of a lot of those like animated type movies, like the Smurfs, where it was like the hybrid animated, and I don't know what they call that, where like you have real life actors and you have animated characters as well. I don't know what that's called, but that was kind of on that tail end of that, I think, because there was like Alvin and the Chipmunks at one point, Smurfs. There's a couple others that are like that. Of course, Detective Pikachu, which I still have not seen.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen Detective Pikachu. Seen Sonic though, but I'm interested in stuff like the Monster Hunter. I'm interested in Minecraft. Like, how are they going to turn Minecraft into a movie? Is it going to be just an animated movie?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
So, I mean, you got the Minecraft story mode.
Yeah, I
so
guess
maybe it'll be along those lines.
The dungeons. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I mean, you have, of course, Tomb Raider.
Yep.
Back in the day, Angelina Jolie. And those movies weren't too bad.
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia was good.
Prince of Persia is probably like the one movie. That's what you're thinking of, Jake Gyllenhaal. This Prince of Persia.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
That's probably like the one like really good game to movie title, like in comparison at least. Like it wasn't amazing, but it was definitely better than everything else.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so Prince of Persia was pretty good. I'm trying to think of any other game movies. It seems like now in 2021 that these video game companies are almost running out of ideas, so they're recycling old ideas. So think about it like this: what are the big movies right now? They're Marvel type movies, right? Retelling stories that have been in comic books for 40 years. And I think that's kind of what happens is as people, rather than trying to make a good quality product from a video game to a movie, they just kind of rush it, to be perfectly honest. And let's be fair. There's a lot of games that don't have a good story. Like honestly, let's take Mario. Right? Let's just take Mario. The story of Super Mario Bros. Is kidnapped princess, go through 8 worlds, save her, yay.
Yeah.
Like there's no story there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think when you try to force a story on things, or like Assassin's Creed, yeah, it had a little bit of a story. The Spanish Inquisition was going on at the time, but it was just this guy, and I don't know.
Did you know Doom?
Yes.
The Rock.
Yeah, and God, why do you have to bring that up? I remember watching that, and I'm like, are they really doing a first-person segment right now?
Oh dear God.
Yeah, have you seen the movie?
No.
Yeah, so there's multiple sections of the movie where they go into first person from the view of the Rock, and you see the gun like you're playing Doom. The worst. But I don't know. I think it goes back and forth because let's go the other direction. Movie to a game. So like there's plenty of Star Wars movies that are terrible. Let's bring up a game that I know that you and I have brought up before, The Matrix.
The Matrix. Oh, listen. Okay, and everyone's gonna hate me for this opinion, but I loved the Matrix game.
Yeah, you're insane.
Loved it.
You were insane.
I just remember playing that game all the time when I was in middle school and just like loving that game so much.
You are absolutely freaking insane,
game.
bro.
It was completely broken.
Yeah, completely.
It was an absolutely broken game, but it was amazing. Enter the Matrix.
The Matrix MMO was pretty good.
Okay.
Which they got rid of, that was, I played WoW for many years, like 12 or 13 years. But I really enjoyed the Matrix MMO, and they got rid of it, which kind of stinks. But I mean, what other movies have become games?
Well, it's like every game, every movie in some way, not every movie, but like so many movies have had some way, shape, or form had a game tied into it. I mean, you look back to the SNES era, Lion King. And Aladdin, those movies have games attached to them. Freaking Mickey Mouse is in Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
It's mostly the animated stuff. You don't have a whole lot of like
The
real
B
life
movie.
movies or B movie.
Yeah, B movie has a game, which is weird.
It's mostly animated movies though that have games tied into them. I can't really think of any other than Matrix, like live action movies that have games tied into them. I mean, you could say the Marvel games, but Marvel games they had games for those superheroes prior to the movies.
Well, what came out first? Was it Need for Speed, the game, or the movie?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
You know, I know Resident Evil came from a game.
Yeah.
House of the Dead came from a game. Alone in the Dark, Doom, Silent Hill, Dead or Alive, Postal.
That's which to me, Postal, like really of all the games that you're gonna turn into a movie, you're gonna take Postal. Okay.
Well, Warcraft was great too.
Yeah.
I did enjoy Warcraft. Did you know? A lot of people didn't know this, but apparently Warner Brothers Pictures is releasing a new Mortal Kombat game or new Mortal Kombat movie.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there's an Untitled Borderlands film coming out. There's a Just Cause film. Wait, what? There's an Untitled Just Dance film. How the heck do you create a film about Just Dance?
It's going to be an animated kids movie, kind of like the troll singing movie. Only it's going to be dance.
Oh God! And here we go. Untitled Space Invaders film. Untitled Saints Row film. Why are these being developed?
Saints Row.
Yeah. So I mean, Crossfire, Gears of War. We already know about the Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, we won't talk about it.
I actually think that's going to be interesting, especially with Nick Cage. That's Nick Cage.
Here's the thing. So Nicolas Cage. I don't know. The only image I have in my head is at the end of Con Air, where he gets out of the plane and the sun's on his eyes, and he's like, "Oh, the wind's in my hair." Like, so fun fact: I got the chance to meet Nicolas Cage about 4 years ago. They were filming with they were filming a movie right outside the casino that I was working at for about 8 months, and he had to wear this big fake nose. Really nice guy, but I can't remember what the movie's called. It was one of those movies that was like on Amazon that went directly to Amazon, not even in the theaters. But I don't know. I mean, Nick Cage is a weird dude.
He's eclectic.
Right.
I think in like 20 years, like when he passes away, I think we're all going to look back on him and be like, wow, he was a genius.
That guy is just so yeah, I mean, I never got into the Five Nights at Freddy's thing.
You're not a FNAF?
Yeah, apparently there was a
fanboy.
Yeah, no. Apparently there was an Animal Crossing movie that was released in Japan.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. That doesn't surprise me.
There's a lot of television movies. Apparently Minecraft Story Mode came out as a television film back November 27, 2018. And but I mean, this has been happening for a long time. One of the first ones was Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
Back in 1991, I mean, Metal Gear Solid had a game at one point. Street Fighter.
Yeah. So it's just here's the thing that I have about game to movie, because you're gonna always have movie to game, and movie to game games are generally speaking pretty bad. Generally, I can't think of any good movie to game games other than maybe like the old SNES games, maybe. Right. But the thing with movie to game titles that I want directors and storytellers to just be better at telling those stories, because they're good stories.
Right.
Like they are like Assassin's Creed, the second and third games. Okay, the Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood were good stories. Right. Those were good stories, and they were interesting. Okay, so Assassin's Creed 1, it kind of like gave you the basis for what the game was going to be, that sort of thing. But I mean, nothing else really there, to be honest, because the game itself was pretty bad. But it gave you the basis for what the rest of the series was going to be, so you kind of needed it. but it had a generally good story, and it's so disappointing to see them like do nothing with it. Like you have this perfectly good piece of lore, and then you just do nothing with it. Like what the heck?
I mean, yeah.
So
I don't know. Kind of put your comments below if you disagree. Apparently, there were a bunch of movies that came out in the Dead Rising series that went straight to TV. Did you know that?
I didn't know about Dead Rising. No.
So apparently, yeah, there are 2 movies that are supposed to take place between like Dead Rising 2 and Dead Rising 3. God, now I want to play Dead Rising. Why? Anyway, but yeah, so they're out there. They've got to be making money because these companies continue to do it.
Sonic and Detective Pikachu had a huge, massive. I mean, I think it was up in the couple hundreds of millions that they made from the box office from those 2 movies.
Right.
So, but no, I just think that the lore aspect of it in particular, because I think there's such good lore in video games. I mean, we were talking about it kind of briefly in the last podcast, right? Just like good lore in video games, and how there's whole like Wikipedia articles dedicated to just lore within a game.
Right.
So,
well, there's the biggest one. So the biggest one worldwide box office as far as money goes, not as far as rating. What do you think the one that made the most money? What movie do you think it was?
Between the 2 of those, or of all?
Between all of
them. Tomb Raider?
Shockingly, no. Tomb Raider is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th on the list.
Okay. So of all of them, is it Detective Pikachu or Sonic?
No, Detective Pikachu is second. Sonic is not even in. Oh, well, they don't consider Sonic to be live action, I guess.
Weird.
But even though it is.
What do
you think it is?
Now I'm trying to think.
It's a movie that I loved that got a lot of crap. And I loved it.
I can't think of it now.
Warcraft.
Yep. Really?
Yep. Huh. Warcraft with $439 million.
Yeah.
And so I liked the Warcraft movie, and Warcraft has some amazing lore. Like the story is phenomenal.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about, man. Like you have Warcraft, and the reason why the fan base is so dedicated is because of the lore involved with it. I mean, you want to talk about lore within video games? Warcraft is like the quintessential one. There's a pandemic that's involved in the lore.
Yep.
Like, what was the name of that pandemic? What was it?
I can't remember, but I'm going to look it up really quick. But yeah, scientists actually studied it, and what it was because I remember I was playing WoW during that time.
Yeah.
There was a raid that you would get a particular debuff inside the raid where if you were close to another person, it would spread to that person. Well, the game glitched, and when people would leave the raid, they were bringing that debuff with them, and people were just dying everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, but I do remember that time, which was really cool. And scientists have studied it on how pandemics work by using that as a model. Well, and what was interesting was like the reaction by the community, because what you ended up having was, number one, people within the cities. I mean, there were just bodies strewn everywhere. Like corrupted blood is what it was called.
Corrupted blood. What year was that? Was that like 2007?
September 13th, 2005.
There you go, 2005. So, I mean, there are people, I mean, there were characters' bodies just strewn throughout the cities. What you ended up having was people would go from the cities and they would go to the outskirts away from like the big population areas.
Yep.
All of the healers would be like in the cities trying to heal people. And then you ended up having those people who would just like raid other people.
Yep.
Who had high health people would, wreck everyone and try to get stuff during that time. And then of course they fixed the bug. But like you were saying, I mean, they studied that, and that became like a part of World of Warcraft after that.
And that's what happened, as a matter of fact, because you would go up to a quest giver, not, and you had the corrupted blood. You'd give it to the quest giver. It wouldn't give anything, or it wouldn't kill the quest giver, but then anybody who came and interacted with that quest giver would now have the corrupted blood.
Yeah.
And so it just spread like crazy. As a matter of fact, reading here, during the epidemic, normal gameplay was disrupted. Major towns and cities were abandoned by the population as panic set in, and players rushed to evacuate to the relative safety of the countryside, leaving urban areas filled with dead player characters.
Yep. So... And I mean, like I said, that piece of history became a part of World of Warcraft lore. And I mean, you don't really get that with other video games because that's an MMO. But like, I'm thinking, lore wise, what I mean, I don't know what kind of games come to your mind. I kind of came up with a list of my own. Like, I'm thinking Skyrim. I already talked about Assassin's Creed, but Metal Gear Solid. That lore in particular is insane. Kingdom Hearts, we can debate whether that has good lore or not.
You sent me a video.
What?
This week on TikTok.
Oh.
And I don't know. it cracked me up because basically it's a guy that's sitting there, and when you're a kid playing Kingdom Hearts and you're like, oh yeah, Goofy, you need that heart to be able to complete the happiness ring, blah blah blah, blah. But then as an adult, you're like, oh my god, shut up.
What is this? Well, in Kingdom Hearts 1, where it got bad was Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 2 isn't too bad, but then it got really kind of cheesy around 3, and then the most recent one is even more cheesy. The original Kingdom Hearts isn't that cheesy. I was replaying it. I'm like, okay, I got to remember it's really cheesy. And I was playing it, I'm like, it's really not that cheesy. It mentions hearts, it mentions love and that sort of thing, but it only in the sense of like, number one, very briefly, but number two, in the sense of like what is actually going on around you. It doesn't like push it really hard.
Right.
It like Kingdom Hearts 1 allows you to make up your own mind as to what's going on to a certain degree.
And that's fair. So,
I mean, but like Skyrim, right? Like the amount of lore that's involved in Skyrim.
And here's the thing. I want to add on to that. As far as Skyrim lore, I think that modding has added so much to that too.
Oh yeah.
Like adding to the lore of the game is just phenomenal. And the fact that Bethesda actually encourages it is even better.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just gives that there's so much depth. Like, sure, you have the main storyline that you can follow, but then there's like all these other side quests going on that add. They're not just side quests. They're not just like, oh, go do this thing. Right. Most of the time, the conversation that you have, or the piece of, the book that you find, or the pamphlet that you read, all of those things add to the lore itself.
And I like
and you
that.
see, oh, that's how this is connected to that, and that sort of thing. I mean, hell, you've got the lusty or Argonian maid as a book. Within the game that adds to the lore of like I've read like a whole article like who wrote the book and why.
Well, and that's the thing though, I will say as like being a dad specifically, when I was a kid I didn't care about that stuff. I wanted to go kill the bad guy.
Yeah.
Now I find like I was just saying with Black Mesa is that I take my time and go around and look for, oh, what does this page say? Ooh, okay, that makes sense. And I read every page. But as a kid, I was just like spamming through it. Like, all right, come on, I want to go fight things. So I can appreciate that more now at being a dad and being at the age that I am than I did back then. Like, even going back to like some of those RTS, the real-time strategy games like Rise of Nations or Age of Mythology. Or even look at StarCraft, look at the original Warcraft that had great stories. Like they had, what's going on. But as a kid, I didn't care. Like I really didn't. You know what I mean? Well,
and I think one of the things is that like for you and I, most of the games that we were playing when we were kids didn't really have a story based on it. I mean,
that too.
I mean, Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
What's the story there?
Get some cake.
Exactly. I that's it. What else? I mean,
Legend of Zelda did.
Has a lore to it, but I mean, it's very shallow when it comes to Ocarina of Time. It really doesn't become deep until you get into the other games. I mean,
I could agree with
the
that.
original Legend of Zelda, it was just, okay, got to go save the princess, right? And it was all these dungeons and that sort of thing. There wasn't much lore involved with it. It isn't until the later games that they really start developing that lore. I'm trying to think here. I mean, Pokemon. There's again, the lore doesn't really become a thing until the later games when you start making legendary Pokemon that created the universe.
And I think that the lore really kind of started with kind of going back a topic. The lore really started with the TV show and the movies.
Yeah.
That's when people started naming their trainer Ash, and you know what I mean. Like I think that's the turning point specifically for Pokemon. But yeah, a lot of the games, Ninja Gaiden, which was made into a movie, but that didn't have a story. I'm playing Double Dragon right now, and I don't know if you've ever played Double Dragon on the NES, but you start out, it says Mission 1, and then you see these two guys, they come up and they pick up a girl and they walk off the screen. And then you're just fighting, and then at the end you're like, "Oh, I was saving this girl. Cool."
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about like a game that has like such incredibly deep lore. I think it's the deepest lore of all video games is Halo.
It does.
I think that if you're going to talk about lore in video games, you like the quintessential one is Halo. I mean, Halo 1, how like you just get thrown in. It just like all of a sudden, okay, we're fighting elites, and that's it.
Right.
Like there's not really any context to it until you actually understand what's happening around you and what you're coming out of. Like you're coming out of this cryo chamber, and it's just like, yep, we're fighting now, and that's it. Like there isn't context of this war or anything. It really isn't until Halo 2 that they really start developing that lore a little bit deeper. You have some of don't get me wrong, Halo Combat Evolved has lore involved with it. It's just not nearly as deep as 2 and 3. I mean, 2 really got into it. 2 really dug deep into what was going on behind the scenes, and then Halo 3 kind of like wrapped it in a nice little bow as to what's going on, right? Like, sure, you have the elites and what is it, High Charity and all that stuff, like that you need to fight, and there are these 3 guys who think that they're gods or whatever, and they each die one by one. But really, the real enemy is the Flood, who ends up being this sentient hive mind, really,
right?
And he can like redevelop himself over and over and over again. And if you look at the Wikipedia page for the Flood, it goes into like how it develops itself and where it starts. It's kind of like it's an actual like growing organism,
right?
And the lore involved with that. And then you talk about how the Flood is able to corrupt what's her name? Oh shoot, Cortana, yeah. And like how the Flood like basically corrupted Cortana, and that's the context for Halo 4.
Right.
So
I don't know, and that's what I kind of miss. I think like Titanfall 1 did not have a like a campaign or story mode. I think Titanfall 2 kind of filled that in, but it's got really interesting backstory to it. I don't know. There's a lot of games that that have great stories, right? And there's books. There's Halo books. There's that kind of delve into that even more. And I think that's why it's a main form of entertainment. I mean, some people like movies, some people like books, some people like to play a video game and experience that firsthand. So for me, my favorite types of games are like Inside, where it doesn't tell you the story. You have to feel the story for yourself because you're immersed into what's going on. You know what I mean? It's almost like Schindler's List. The movie Schindler's List, where it's in black and white, and it's almost like that, to where you know what's going on, but it's not like explicitly told to you. Like, hey, you have to go save the princess. You know what I mean? Like, it's so I don't know. I'm looking forward to more games like that. I have not played Cyberpunk. I kind of refuse to right now. Partially because I don't think my graphics card can handle it, but partially because of all of the issues. I want to be able to experience the story, like Just Cause. People, I know you and I have talked about it. Just Cause is one of my favorite games series of all time, and you mentioned it last week or it was last week or the week before about Just Cause and how you're going and stealing and flying and killing everything. And I was thinking, wait, does it really have a story? So then I went back and I was like, oh yeah, it does. I remember you're leading this revolution.
Yeah. So it's the problem I have with Just Cause is that the story is so terrible.
Yeah.
Like Just Cause 3, that ending was the most underwhelming ending ever. And I hated it. I just absolutely hated the ending to Just Cause 3. The rest of the game, amazing, beautiful, just absolutely mwah. I want more of that because it was just so good. But the ending was just like, really? This is how it ends? That's it?
There's a game for I can't remember if it's Xbox One. I think it's Xbox 360. It's called The Saboteur. And it's very similar to Just Cause. However, it has a real story.
Okay.
And it's about you're in 1940s, like World War II, where the Nazi occupation of Paris. And it's super in depth, and everything that you do is you're a part of the resistance, pushing back the Nazis. And that will remain one of my absolute favorite games of all time. The Saboteur. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I wonder if it's on Steam. It may be on Steam, but I think it's an Xbox 360 game.
And I'm just trying to think of any other games with like really deep, good lore that I can. Far Cry. Well, Far Cry is just weird. It's not. Well, actually, you know what? Yeah, because Far Cry 3, you could collect there were a bunch of collectibles, and you could read into it, and you actually found out more of what was going on the island. Right. And like what had been going on, it gave you more context as to how everything got to the way that it was, and how everything kind of just went to crap.
Right, and that's why, like for games like Overwatch, I really hope that they delve more into the lore of the game. Because they have a platform to do it. All of these heroes, and you've got Doomfist on one side with Reaper and those guys, and then on the other side you have Overwatch. So I mean, I don't know. I kind of hope that they do something with that because they need to. They really need to. But I don't know.
More stories in games.
Yeah,
I mean,
I enjoy stories.
I mean, like there was. I think you know what game had the perfect like middle ground of story, but like really fun game.
What's that?
Was Black Ops.
It really did,
dude. That was the perfect. If we're gonna talk about first person shooters, that was the perfect first person shooter. Was Black Ops. See that. Because I mean, it had the story. It had that deep, interesting story that you wanted to dive into. That you wanted to like be like, well, what the heck is going on here exactly? But it was still this very good first-person shooter.
Well, here's the thing. I was just thinking about it. How Super Mario Bros. Was, hey, 8 worlds, get the princess, yay, we win. Your princess is in another castle, blah, blah, blah. But on the flip side of that with Mario, the story for the Paper Mario games, so good.
I agree.
So good. Like, I'm not gonna lie. For the Origami King, the new Paper Mario, I spent a level and a half like pissed off and sad because of something that happened in the game, and I'm not gonna spoil it because it's a huge spoiler. But then you're like, oh, okay, never mind. I'm good. I'm happy. No problem. And like I love games that like really pull at your heartstrings as well with the story that really just they throw you into what's going on. Like the Origami King specifically, what it is Mario and Luigi are coming to the castle and there's supposed to be some big celebration and oh crap, the castle has now been lifted up and is being held by these streamers, and I don't know, it's so good. If you haven't played it, play it. or just join my stream while I'm playing through it casually. One of the two.
More stories in games, though. More stories. Because I just want to dive into something, you know.
But it's hard.
I just want to feel like I'm immersed in something.
It's really tough being a parent and diving in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I would love to be able to just like immerse myself in a game, but I can't unless the kids are asleep,
right?
And it's streaming time. And that's kind of one of the issues that I've had is really being able to sit down and, because when you play those types of games, you're immersing them and you don't want to stop.
Right.
You're like, I want to see what's going on. I want to see what happened. And it's kind of tough to do that with kids, to be honest.
Well, it's because you only get so many breaks. And
right.
like most of the time with story-based games, you need to sit down for like an hour or 2 hours and play the game and learn the story and get through parts of it and and then
right.
you only get so much time when they're napping or when they're asleep or whatever. So, and then you have to do something and you have to go to work, and so yeah, I agree. But
yeah, that's kind of my issue with that. Like Borderlands, I would love to play Borderlands. I've never played through the whole way through ever. Ever, like any of the games, and everybody's telling me, oh my god, you have to. Matter of fact, right now on Steam, the Handsome collection of for Borderlands 2 is normally $229. It's on sale 96% off for $10.02, and it has 52 items in the bundle, which includes Borderlands 2, all of the packs for Borderlands 2. I don't know. I would love to be able to get this and delve myself into it, but I don't think that I have the time, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just anyway. I just want a good story, but anyway, I wanted to go over two quick topics with you.
Yeah, let's
just because it was two things. You know, we talked about this last week, and then something that I saw on Twitter that I thought was interesting. But GameStop and Wallstreetbets, that has kind of died down.
Yes, it has. Like
Wallstreetbets, again, is a Reddit bunch of kind of kids, I guess. I don't know.
I wouldn't say necessarily kids.
Millennials.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess
younger millennials, early Gen Z.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. The trying to screw over the hedge funds by buying GameStop and AMC. GameStop has since just absolutely blown up.
Right.
It's not blown up. It's completely crashed. It peaked at $400 a share, and it is since plummeted.
Yeah, that's fine.
To about, what is it now? I'm looking at my looking on here. It's down to $66 a share.
Right.
And they keep on saying, "Oh, there's gonna be a squeeze. There's gonna be a squeeze," and they keep on changing the date of the squeeze. And I'm like, I don't. I think that it's a fad.
It ran its course.
It ran its course, and now it's done. I don't know. I have a tough time with it because it's like all these people are making a lot of money. There's a lot of people making money off of this. And what's bothered me is that they wrung a bunch of people into thinking that they were also going to make a ton of money. And I bet you $10, there's a lot of people out there who've spent a lot more money than they should have on this sort of thing, and they've lost a ton of money.
All right, and here's the thing. This is advice for anybody that's listening. If you want to invest what you can, right? And that's okay. Do high risk. You're not going to make a lot of money with blue chip stuff. Jordan Belfort made his millions off of penny stocks, but he also screwed a lot of people, so that's okay, I guess. But find yourself an investment advisor. That's the best thing. I have an investment advisor. I've had the same investment advisor now since 2015, so almost 6 years. My investment advisor only makes money when I make money. If he doesn't make me money, he doesn't make anything. So he has an incentive to make me money, right? So rely on these people and ask them questions. Hey, when I'm investing an extra $100 on Robinhood, where should I put that? They'll give you that advice for free. So get yourself an investment advisor, Edward Jones, whoever. I've got friends now that are graduating with finance degrees and stuff. Get someone who knows what they're talking about.
Not Reddit.
Right? Not Reddit.
Not Reddit.
Because the stock market and how it works is not just, hey, I'm buying a stock. It goes up, I sell that stock. There's a lot that goes into that.
Well,
and
I thought it was hilarious when there were people being like, Dogecoin is going to short. Like, you can't short Doge. It's not how that works at all.
Right.
Like, in any way, shape, or form. And a bunch of people thinking, thinking that this is what a short was, when in reality, that isn't what a short is in any way, shape, or form.
And that's where, get yourself an investment advisor, ask questions, and learn. Why? Because, again, it's not as simple as what I just portrayed. Why? Because you have companies that they do their own manipulations of the stock market. Right?
Well, we've seen that in the past 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So, I mean, when you have AOC and Ted Cruz both agreeing on something about the stock market, I think you've got a problem.
Right. So, just understand, hey, look, it's a free market, right? Well, as free could possibly be.
Right.
Get yourself someone who knows what they're talking about. Normally, like I said, it only costs you money when you make money. So you're not paying a dude $100 an hour to give you advice. You're literally paying when they make you money, they make money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how they're paid. Do the research. If you don't have an IRA, you need to have an IRA. Like, I've had a Roth IRA since I was 21 that I pay into all the time. And of course, I'll kind of explain really quick the difference between an IRA, an individual retirement account, and Roth IRA. Roth IRA, you pay the taxes now. So then you don't have to worry about later on down the road when you go to pull that money out, paying a whole bunch of taxes. Mm-hmm. So ask me.
Free money.
Yeah, it is free money. If you're not in a 401k with work, do it.
Yeah.
Especially if they have a match. So my company that I work for right now matches 6%. So that's 6% of what I make. So if I make, let's say, $100 for the whole year, this is just to oversimplify it. If I make $100 for the whole year and I contribute $6 into my 401k, they give me $6 for free.
Mm-hmm.
It's free money. Like, they're contributing towards that. Every company pretty much has that. Even if you're working at Wendy's as a fry cook, Wendy's has a 401k program for the employees. Use it. Mm-hmm. It's so worth it. Anyway.
Back to this is the financial section of the Gaming Dads podcast.
Yeah, apparently.
No, it just upsets me because it's like we all these people going like diamond hands. I'm like, you're gonna have dirt hands here soon.
Exactly.
Because I've seen people lose millions of dollars, or at least lose out on the opportunity of millions of dollars. Like, I saw a guy, he had $5 million worth of GameStop stock at one point when it was at its peak. And he was like, I'm going to hold. And now he's at 300,000, which right. 300,000 is nothing to knock at. But I mean, there's a big difference between $5 million and $300,000.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you're looking to get into the stock market and invest to make a whole bunch of money, don't. You might as well just go to the casino.
Right.
Right. And because the odds are not in your favor unless you're buying up literally every share. Mm-hmm. So do your research. Don't follow what's on Reddit. Please, Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, Reddit has... Yeah.
It's
like following 4chan. Yeah, it's like following 4chan for stock advice.
Yeah.
Do the actual research on the companies, understanding understand why companies have or why these hedge funds do what they do. Right? There's a reason why they do what they do with these companies that are going out of business. So, or just hire an investment advisor. It's free. You know, it's 100% free. And I can call, and it's kind of funny, don't make fun of him, but his name is Chad.
Chad.
I can call Chad at any time and say, hey, I've got an extra couple $100. I really want to put it into something on Robinhood. What should I do? Now, 9 times out of 10, he says, hey, send me that $200 and I'll take care of it.
Right.
But if I really wanted to do it on my own, he would say, yeah, this is what I'm looking at. Anyway.
Moving away from that, though, another quick topic here. Valve is getting sued for Steam.
What?
Yeah. So Valve is being sued for price gouging and abusing Steam market dominance. And this is something that, I mean, I talked about this a long time ago on the podcast. I think it's
right.
the first one of the first 3 episodes I talked about it. I think I was comparing it to Epic Games.
Right.
But I think that Steam has run its course. It needs to get better or it needs to change. Otherwise, it's going to die.
But here's the thing. All right, so
it's just ran that market forever.
Explain to me what the lawsuit is based upon.
Well, so let's take a look here. Valve is being sued for a Steam agreement that forces developers to list the same game prices on other platforms, possibly eliminating competition.
Well, here's the thing. In American business. So a lot of people don't know this about me. Some may. I have a degree in contract law. Right. So that's what my initial degree is in. So these are the types of things that I've studied. So in American business, how it works is, of course, you have antitrust laws that prevent monopolies. However, the court is going to look at things like, okay, is this particular developer being forced to use Steam? Did this developer agree to this? If the developer agreed to it, then guess what? That lawsuit's going to be thrown out super quick, right? Because contracts in the United States require it has to be between 2 adults. So, like, it can't be a 15-year-old game developer. Has to be between 2 adults. And they both have to be acted on what's called good faith, and what a reasonable person would expect. Okay, and there's 3 parts of the contract. You have offer, you have acceptance, and you have consideration. So Steam could also technically get around and say, hey, you don't have to sign a contract. We'll go ahead and list your stuff. Here's the terms of service, though. And the moment that developer sells their first game, they now have consideration and have accepted all terms of that contract. So I think it's going to play out kind of interesting, to be perfectly honest. What I need people to remember here, developers and consumers alike, no one is forcing you to use Steam. No one. Right? It's not like a water company is hoarding all of the water and you have to use that water company or you're going to die. Trust me, you will not die if you don't get to play Cyberpunk 2077. You won't. You know what I mean? I mean, what's your take on it?
I mean, I don't like Steam. I don't.
That's
I think
fair.
that they've been doing a lot wrong for a long time. And like I said, I think that they've had a monopoly on PC gaming for a long time. And I think it just comes down to there just isn't competition at all. And there needs to be competition. There needs to be something out there that competes against Steam in some way, shape, or form to force them to do things better, because they've been doing things poorly for so long.
Right.
And no one has said anything because it's Steam, because it's Steam is Steam, and everyone has Steam.
Right.
Epic Games is the first time where you have actually good competition running up against Steam to force them to do something.
And I think I've told you that before. With Epic Games specifically, putting your game on Epic Games, they don't charge you nearly the amount that Steam does.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that competition is starting.
Well, and that's exactly what PC gamers need, is they need that competition there to force Steam to do something, to actually provide something that's quality service at an affordable rate. Because that's the whole reason why you get a PC, is so that you can play a variety of other games using a mouse and keyboard.
And here's the thing, and I've said this time and time again, and it applies here as well. If Steam continues to make money, why bother change?
Mm-hmm.
Why bother? People are going to buy our stuff anyway. They're going to use our platform anyway. Why should I make it better for them? Right? And that's the mentality that they've taken because of, like you said, lack of competition. And Epic Games will help with that. But the best thing that people can do, stop buying on Steam.
Yeah.
Stop it. Because guess what?
People aren't going to do that.
Well, of course not. Of course not. But that's what I say, for companies that are critical of like gaming companies, like with the whole Cyberpunk 77. That was my answer to that too. You don't like all the bugs, don't buy the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple. Nintendo, you don't like that the Nintendo 3D All-Stars is going to be going away in March, and they did it as a limited time, even though you can buy it digitally as well. Don't buy it.
Right.
But no, I'm going to buy it.
Well, and here's so to kind of cap that off. Have you seen the new that EA is coming out with a new NCAA game?
No, I have not. So
everyone, anyone who's played the EA sports games, particularly the football games, so Madden, they're very well known for Madden. But NCAA in particular, everyone remembers NCAA 14 and loving that game, right?
Right.
And Madden recently, with their Madden 21, has been absolutely thrashed for how bad the game is. The poor mechanics, the poor gameplay, the glitches, and particularly, I mean, they've gotten so nitty gritty with it, where they're critiquing the movement of players,
right,
and how unrealistic it is in comparison to older versions of the game.
Right.
They're coming out with NCAA soon. It looks like that it's going to come out in either 2022
I'm so
or
sick of sports
2023.
games. Oh my gosh.
But and that's the thing, is that all these people are hyping it up, being like, "Oh, NCAA is going to be so good," and I'm like, "You're the problem."
Yep.
You're the exact reason why EA is still producing games the way they are, is because you're just hyping it up and you're going to buy the game. And the thing is, I keep on telling people, I'm like, how good was Madden 21? Oh, it was garbage. Oh, it was terrible. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, what makes you think that NCAA will be any better? Well, NCAA 14 was better than Madden. I'm like, that was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
EA has since then made horrible games. Look at what's happened with the Star Wars series.
Yep. And why do they make horrible games? Why do they make horrible games? Because they know everyone is going to pay for them.
Yeah. And
they're going to walk away to the bank saying, we don't care what you say. Yeah. We've got our money. Like, I agree 100,000% with what you're saying.
Yeah. It just makes me laugh, because I'm like, you are the same group of people who got so mad about Madden 21 and how bad that game was, and you're going to look at the same developer who's making the exact same type of game and say, "Oh yeah, they'll make a great NCAA game." Like, just because it's college football versus pro football, it's not going to be better. It's just not. I guarantee you, when they come out with that game, that you're going to have a slew of people mad about it. I'm just going to look at them and go, "You wanted this. You asked for it. You got all excited about it and everything, and you bought it. You're a moron." To say, "Oh, the exact same company that's making this terrible football game, Madden 21, is going to make a better college football game." Yeah. Like, they're not.
They're not.
They're not going to make it. They're not. It's not going to be better. It's not.
I agree. And that's kind of the thing that I try to remind people. Guys, I hate to tell you, these video game companies are not art companies to provide something unique to the world.
Not these big ones, at least.
These video game companies are businesses. They're in it to make money. That's that. Period. End of story. They're in it to make money. That's it. Right. So to think that they care about what what you think about their game that you've already bought, they've already got your money.
They just care about the bottom line.
Exactly.
That's it.
So, going into that understanding, whenever you're purchasing a video game, like fully understanding that, hey, this is a company that's trying to sell me something, and stop pre-ordering games. Stop it. Officially, I'm throwing that stance up right now. Stop pre-ordering games. Stop it. Right? And why do I say that? Because you're perpetuating crap gaming. Right? If they have your money already, there's no refunds. Yeah, Cyberpunk did, but they did it. They didn't have to. They did it just to save face. Stop pre-ordering games. Wait till the game comes out, and look at it for yourself. Go to Redbox, rent it for $2 a night. See if that's something you're going to enjoy. If it's a PC game, anytime a game is released, there's 450 gabillion videos on YouTube of the gameplay of that game. Go check it out. Go see what people are saying. Go look at reviews. Stop pre-ordering games. I stopped about, 4 or 5 years ago, because I realized that I was giving, here's my money. I hope that what I get is good. Hope that what I get is what I want. So I don't know. That's kind of my take. Stop pre-ordering games. That's why I'm happy that GameStop is not doing well. I don't pre-order anything. I haven't for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I just don't trust it.
I mean, I don't. But by pre-ordering games, all you're doing is perpetuating crap. I learned, as a matter of fact, the game that I learned that on was Assassin's Creed Unity. That was the last game. So whenever that came out, that was the very last game that I actually pre-ordered and went to a midnight release for. So unless I know that it's a game like 3D All-Stars or something that I know that that's something that I'm going to want regardless, or a Paper Mario title or something, I'm not going to pre-order anything. I would love to play the new Far Cry 6 because it's got the guy from Breaking Bad in it as the main antagonist. Right. I can't remember the actor's name. He played Gus in Breaking Bad. I would love to, but I'm not going to give them my money now. I'm going to wait maybe a week after the game comes out. I don't need to be the first person to play that game. Who cares? I want a good quality game with a good quality story with a good quality gameplay. That's it. Anyway.
Strong opinions. Opinions.
That's my soapbox for today.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I think that's a good place to stop for the day. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Guys, we Scotch and I were talking, and I kind of want to hit on this really quick. Scotch and I were talking about a week ago, and how we look forward to recording this every Saturday. We do. We love the interaction we're seeing. We're growing leaps and bounds every week. Get us out there. We need your help. Every time you find something that you agree with, tag us in it on Twitter. If you disagree, Tharoah, you're full of crap. I pre-order everything. What are you talking about? Tag me. Let your friends listen to it. Clip it. Play it on stream. Shout outs to Kevin Crunch, who has been listening to our podcast on stream while he's doing, stocks or whatever he's doing. So shout outs to Kevin Crunch for listening on stream with an audience. We love it. We love to hear the feedback. We love the fact that people are listening, and we're here for you. Yep. We love getting up on Saturdays and just recording away.
It's a nice, relaxing thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's just chill. And we're talking about, again, Tharoah and I get so busy and bogged down with everything else. I mean, we're dads, we're husbands, and we've got a lot of responsibilities, but this is like a nice 2-3 hour spot in our week where, we don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. We can just talk. So this, exactly. We enjoy this for just the sake of enjoying this and talking and, having the conversation about something that we love. But like he said, I want to shout out to Chaotic in particular. He's given us so many topics.
He really has.
Super helpful as far as that goes. So if you're interested, though, if you have any other topic suggestions, please let us know.
And to kind of tease this a little bit, go to twitch.tv/thegamingdads.
Mm-hmm.
We've set up the channel. I'll be adding graphics in. I had shout outs to Tharoah Sensei, who is actually my artist of all of my emotes. He put together a really quick just logo for the Gaming Dads, which will be going up on the Twitch channel this week. And hopefully we can get some streams going with you and I and doing whatever we do.
Yeah, maybe if I'm feeling better, we can finally do that.
I'm cool with that. I may just stream on the Gaming Dads channel this week just to
throw it out there.
Just to throw it out there. So,
well, cool. Well, I think we're done for the week. We're done for the day. Excuse me. I don't know what you've got going on, but I'm going to go lay down and rest.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm going to be playing some video games and doing schoolwork. Today's the first day that I've had where I don't have family photos or appointments or whatever. So I think I'm going to play some video.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening as always. Again, check out all of our social media, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Discord, etc. Email, blah blah blah. Make sure to shout us out. Let us know if you have any suggestions. Send us if you just were like, hey, this was really cool, go ahead. We'd love to hear about it. But this is gonna be it for this week's episode. And as always, good gaming.
Absolutely.